Just had a nice meal. Jack had about 8 pints, chocolate brownie, and no, he didn't really. That was me. That was me. He was very, very healthy, the lad.
When people seen it initially, they was like, "What? Have they messed up on the poster there, Sky or Boxer, or what? What's going on?"
People only see the shiny side of boxing, and it's very, very tough at times.
Guys, we're here today at the famous Phoenix camp to watch the IBO Cruiserweight champion of the world, Jack Massey, training for his huge fight, his step up to heavyweight against former world champion Joseph Parker, 21st of January at the AO Arena. Going to be mega. Let's go and see how he's getting on in training. I'm here with Charlie Schofield. Great fighter in his own right, but now Jack Massey's new main trainer, taken over at a time, probably the biggest fight of his career against former heavyweight champion Joseph Parker. Big step up to heavyweight, huge stage, January 21st. Charlie, tell me how it's all going. How's Jack looking? How's he getting on?
He's looking great at the moment, he really is. I've trained with Jack as a teammate all through my professional career and through the majority of my amateur career as well. So I know him inside and out, and he's looking great at the moment. And I'm not just saying it because we're in an interview and it's before the fight, but it's probably the fittest Jack Massey I've seen and I've known. So yeah, we're in a very good place at the moment.
Oh, good stuff. And is it a continue when you take? I know you've been in that tight-knit group for a long time now as the trainer. Is it a continuation of the process, or are you doing things differently? Is there things that you're adding to his training and to his game plan?
No, I think we continue with the same blueprint that Rob's laid out for us, that we've all done throughout all our careers. And there might be a little bit of added elements to it here and there, but nothing that really stands out. I think it's just a continuation, and it's nailed on, and we're a team, and we've kept going with that same blueprint. What
about the jump up to heavyweight? I know it's massive. You're looking at these guys freestone heavier and stuff. What are you doing there to get him ready for that?
Well, with credit to Jack on this one as well, he was game to take the fight within 3-4 weeks notice. There's not much really you can change. People transition to heavyweight, they do it over a year, maybe a bit longer. Within 3-4 weeks. Like I said, then credit to Jack, because there's not much you can't go and bang a load of weight on unnecessarily. So it's just stayed the same, and Jack's feeling good naturally at the weight he's at the moment, and it's just like the fittest, leanest Jack that we've got, and he's just been able to eat and do what he wants really.
I'm not going to ask you too much about the game plan because I know they're always coy on that one and we can't tell you too much, but what are some of the fundamentals he's got to do on the night to go in there and fight Joseph Parker?
Well, like I said then, you said it then, I'm not going to give anything away, mate. All I know is that it's going to be an exciting fight. When people seen it initially, they was like, "What? Have they messed up on the poster there, Sky or Boxer, or what? What's going on?" But I think the more it sinks in, people are like, "Yeah, that's going to be a great fight, that." And I think it's going to be a top fight. And yeah, I'm not going to give anything away. I just thought I'd throw a little bit of a spin on that one there.
Yeah, good man, good man. Well, good luck to you both. You're a great team.
Nice one.
And it's going to be a great night.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Right, guys, as promised, we're up here in the Phoenix camp and I'm sitting next to Jack Massey, IBO Cruiserweight champion of the world. Like I said, downstairs, huge fight coming up against Joseph Parker. Just watched him train, he's looking pretty sharp. I don't like to compliment him too much, but I've got to say he was looking pretty good.
Thanks, mate.
Jack, I'm going to start this actually somewhere that I wasn't planned to start, but I just heard you talking to ITV there, and you were telling them where you found out that you had this fight, and I think it's brilliant because when people think of boxing and they think world champion and they see you on the bill with Joseph Parker, I think they think mega money, glamorous, boxing top level, you're an elite fighter. Where was you when you found out the news?
It's not like that sometimes. Boxing is, people only see the shiny side of boxing, and it's very, very tough at times. It's tough enough climbing through them ropes and fighting and going through camp, but there's all sorts of things behind the scenes. We've had a tough year this year financially, in the ring and outside the ring, but we got the phone call. I was actually working with my brother scaffolding, and we got the phone call on the Friday. It was freezing cold, it was about -6. And my manager Kevin Ree, he rang me, offered me the fight. He said, "Joseph Parker." I was like, "Let's have it, let's go." Yes, straight away. So
I think that's madness, that, because you just couldn't imagine it in any other sport. You couldn't imagine like a young footballer, just about to get the call to go to Man United or Arsenal or something like that, being out on the tools or on the scaffold. And I think that's what's, for me, that's what's special about boxing, because it is a real people sport. You know, it's fine margins, fine lines. And I think it's superb. You know, you go and get your hands dirty, and then you come and use those hands to win world titles. But incredible, you know, break, an incredible piece of business by Kevin. And I think the whole of your team, but especially you being your mate and knowing what you've been through in the last year, the resilience you've shown to hang on. I mean, to go back and look, you know, winning that title and then not being able to get a proper defence, and, you know, having so much aspirations, but having your hands tied by, we won't go too much into it, by your situation. But tell us a bit about your mindset, you know, over the last year. How hard was it? How did you keep going? What did you keep telling yourself? Did you ever lose belief? Did you ever think, well, this could be it?
Just optimism and resilience, and just, you know, getting in the gym. I always find if you're down, you get in the gym and you're working out, it always makes you feel better, and just taking things as they come at a time. You know, it was very tough. You know, not getting the fights, and unfortunately we lost both of them titles through no fault of my own. I had struggles with promotion. That's all said and done now. I've got away from that, which is good. Thanks to the manager and my legal team. But yeah, just getting your head down, put your chin down, and just carry on, because things always come good in the end. And it's shown. You know, last year, toughest year of my life, hardest year of my life for me and my partner. But this year, the best year of my life. You know, we've got this massive fight, and me and my partner are expecting our first child. Yeah. Baby girl due on the 12th of June. So it's you know,
I'll give you a bit of advice there, mate.
Life's a roller coaster, literally. But
yeah, definitely. I mean, I go back to those moments. I remember, like, speaking to you on the phone one day, probably about 3 months ago, and I'd been chatting to Rob and stuff, and everyone was getting frustrated, and I was chatting away to you, and I was thinking, like, you know, I won't swear on camera, but I was thinking, like, he deserves this fight now. The situation's getting ridiculous. You know, we need to do this, need action, need that. Obviously, it's not for me to make those decisions. It's Kevin, who's done a great job. But, you know, you never lost that belief. When I was speaking to you, you're like, no, it's going to come good. You know, we got this going on, and we've got that going on. It's going to be okay, and it's more than okay, mate. You know, like you say, it's going to be a hugely special year for you. Starting with this fight. So I know that you got offered other stuff at cruiserweight, other stuff at heavyweight, but you take this fight, which is such a ridiculous challenge, really, to jump up not just heavyweight, but to like a top 10, arguably top 5 world champion. How are you going about it in training? What are you doing differently?
It's a lot harder. This camp has been, because we've only had 6 weeks notice as well. It's literally been from that first week in the gym, has been probably like you're looking at, you know, your normal sort of 6 week into the camp. So we started off sparring 8 rounds. We just started from, you know, mid to sort of end of a 10-week camp. So we started with a big bang, and, you know, we've sort of thrown different things in there as well, different training techniques, and obviously preparing for Parker as well. Big, strong heavyweight, come forward fighter. He's fast, he's tough, and he can bang as well. So we took that into consideration and changed a few things up.
Do you think this is a bit of I think there's the beauty in this fight is for the box office pay-per-view fans, as I call them out there, who might not know too much about you, see you going in against, you know, Joseph Parker. They don't realise what of a pedigree you've got as an amateur, you know, stepping up through the ranks, being a world champion. I think this is a tougher fight than a lot of people think for Joseph Parker. But where I think it's a brilliant piece of business is you now automatically get completely, you know, put on that platform to the pay-per-view fans on a huge bill on Sky against a former world champion and a box office fighter. But if you win, you know, like you say before, it's that lottery ticket moment. Anything is possible. But if you don't win, and, you know, I'm not being negative here, it doesn't take away anything from your cruiserweight credentials. So it's almost like it's a free throw of the dice. You've walked up to the roulette table and someone's went, here, you know, just throw that. You got a free throw. It's all on me.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't say it's a no pressure fight. There's a lot of pressure there because, like you say, I win this fight, it's life changing. It's going to change my life. You know, on to the next fight. You know, it's boxing. You know, for me, it is about, you know, getting the titles and stuff like that. But it's the money. The money comes second as well. So it's life-changing stuff, and it is a win-win fight. You know, if we do unfortunately lose this fight, but we put on a good show and we show people what I'm about, and we drop back down to cruiserweight and campaign at cruiserweight, then there's big fights there to be made.
Ask you straight, Jack, as a mate, when you go into a fight like this, you're going into it. Is it a big payday? Is it like, you know what, like we said, it's a shot in the dark, you know, it's a free throw of the dice, it's a big payday and it's life changing? Or is it, do you, with your aspirations, and rightly so, all the aspirations you should have with your amateur career and the build up to now, are you going into this fight thinking, you know what, I can really win this fight, I 100% can win this fight and go on to bigger and better things?
100%. I wouldn't get in there if I didn't think I could win this fight. You know, this money is good. It's life changing money as well. It's probably more money than, you know, I've had 22 fights now. It's probably more money than I've got altogether through the 21 fights. But it's the money after this fight. You get through this, and then it's big life changing money. And you know, that's a lottery ticket. And you know, stranger things have happened. You beat Joseph Parker, you're looking at another top 10 heavyweight. AJ's got to have a comeback fight. You know, that's a possibility. You know, stranger things have happened, so it's someone in that top 10 heavyweight division.
Definitely. Do you think, I've heard Joseph Parker talking a little bit, you know, I find it hard when I hear about the fight and hear Joseph Parker talking, or other people talking about the fight, to remove myself from the fact that I know you, do a bit of work with you and your mate and stuff like that, because you want to be impartial. But I do think that Joseph Parker is taking this very lightly, and, you know, he's probably underestimating you by thinking, you know, this is just an easy comeback fight for me, and on we go to next things. Does that fuel you even more? Do you think, look at his last couple of fights and, you know, heavy knockdown to Joyce and stuff, and think, well, actually, don't underestimate me because I'll put it on you?
Absolutely, yeah. That's great for me. Underestimate me. I think he's saying that on camera, but I don't think he is. You know, the guys in that camp, you know, especially John Fury and a few of the other lads, they know what I'm about. Yeah. You know, I've sparred with Tommy Fury in the past, and a couple of over their lads. I've sparred Joseph Parker, so he knows what I'm about. But if he is underestimating me, so be it. That's great for me. But I'm going to be switched on, you know, for 10 rounds. I'm going to be there. You know, I've never been put down by a headshot in my full career sparring and inside the ring, so I'll be there for the full 10 rounds. And yeah, he shouldn't underestimate me.
Definitely not. I second that. And when you talk about the occasion, you know, like we say, it's the biggest stage, a huge bill. You know, great undercard, actually, one of the best I've seen in a long time. You know, you've been involved in some big nights for sure. I'd have to say this is the biggest by quite a bit. Are you thinking about that? Are you thinking about, oh, what am I going to do at the press conference? What am I going to wear at the press conference? What am I going to say? Because there's going to be so many people watching. What's it going to be like when I get to the arena and walk out to that many people? Is that coming into your mind? Is that an element of preparation?
Not really. You know, it's very exciting being, you know, on a local show at Manchester Arena, coming out in front of all them people. You know, sold a lot of tickets for this, and press conference the way, I'm just going to be myself. Yeah. Just be myself. And the main thing's the fight, get in there, be switched on from round one and do the business. Yeah, definitely, mate, you can do that. And I just want to talk a little bit about redemption. You look at your career, and there was a real kind of moment in your career, I would say a defining moment, when you go in and you fight Riakporhe, you know, and you lose a very close fight that a lot of people think you won. You had a lot of inactivity before that. And if you look at the career, you know, like we said before, boxing's fine margins. If you look at his trajectory, he's sort of become, because of boxers' platform, because of how well they market the fighters, and because of the kind of monopoly they've got in the cruiserweight division, he's kind of become the main man, you know, the face. I remember you winning the world title when I got you on Talk Sport, and it's something that always sticks out and bothers me. And you went on the Jim White and Simon Jordan show, and all they wanted to talk about really was Riakporhe. And he was like, oh, you know, get yourself a few more fights, come back and fight, you know, Richard again. I'm like, 1 minute. You know, it's a very, very close fight that could have went either way. You've got just as much pedigree and as talent as him. Do you look at it on the night and go, well, actually, he's on the bill, I'm in a bigger fight, and I'm coming for you, I want to get back and be the top man in the cruiserweight division after this? Yeah, absolutely. You know, Riakporhe, it was a very close fight. You know, a lot of people had me winning that fight. Everyone can make their mind up for themselves. It's there on YouTube. But, you know, it was a great fight for me and a great learning fight. And it was sort of, we could have had that skyrocket from there, but unfortunately we didn't. But after that, you know, I was a completely different fighter. You know, 4 stoppages in a row. But you know, maybe they're trying to work something. You know, that's how sometimes how I do it. Maybe they're planning after this fight, whatever happens, to get me and Riakporhe fighting again. Maybe that's why they both put us on that card. And but I'd love that fight. But we have asked for that fight in the past a few times, but him and his team haven't wanted it, unfortunately. But I'd love that fight again in the future. But I know we both come on, both different fighters. But I think it'll be an easy fight for me. Definitely.
Well, you look, you're 21 fights in, you know, 29 years old. I still think the prime of your career is in front of you, and that's the beauty of it. And if people could see how sharp Jack's looking at the moment in training and sparring, you know, you know you've got a serious fighter in your hands. The adversity you faced in the last year, mate, you know, the determination and dedication to what you do to get through it, I commend you so much. You're going to be a dad, which will be a bigger challenge than anything. I want to ask you a question. What do you fear more? Getting hit with a straight shot, clean shot, Joseph Parker's biggest shots, back on the chin, or changing your first nappy?
I think changing my first nappy.
Good answer, good answer.
But, yeah, definitely. I've tried it with my little nephew before, and just got my missus to take over. Like, oh, no, I can't do that. But I suppose I'll get used to it. I'll get used to it.
You will, mate. And the good thing about it is, I know you're going to be a dad to a girl like myself, and in about 16 years' time, you won't have to worry when the new boyfriend turns up at the door. he'll know he's in trouble. He'll have to be respectful.
Yeah, definitely.
Great chatting to you, mate. I know we're going to go and have a bit of lunch now and chat a bit more around your hometown and stuff, about a bit more about the early part of your career and your upbringing, which I'm looking forward to. But I'm so pleased for you to get this opportunity, mate. No one deserves it more. And Jack's one of the nicest guys ever. And what I found funny earlier on, he's one of the nicest guys ever. Now he's in fight mode, and he's sitting there with his gum shield, and earlier on he's scary as well. You know, don't get forward and think this is a nice guy. This is a nice guy, but this is a very good fighter, and a guy I think is going to shock a few people on January 21st.
Yeah, sort of gets to that 2 weeks off a fight, I get a bit twitchy, little things annoy me and stuff, but
I had to tone down my jokes.
What it is. Yeah, you might get a slap, mate.
Good man, Jackie boy.
Thank you, mate.
So, originally from Chapel and Le Thrift. Did I get that right?
That's right, mate. Yeah,
practicing that all day. It's been giving me nightmares, that.
It means chapel in the forest in French.
It's very, very
But yeah, Chapel, High Peak in the Derbyshire.
Good man. Well, we're here now in Marple, where you base yourself now. Just had a nice meal. Jack had about 8 pints, chocolate brownie, and no, he didn't really. That was me. That was me. He was very, very healthy, the lad. But yeah, I just want to know a bit more about you today, really, Jack. You know, people, we see boxers and we know what they're like around their fight and stuff, but I want to know how it started for you. So you're growing up in Chapel and Le Thrift, and you know, when did you get into boxing? Who's the first person who takes you?
Yeah, so it's always been into sport as a kid. Started off playing ice hockey for Sheffield, and that was about an hour's journey from where I live, where I'm from. Started playing ice hockey there, and we couldn't get down to training. We were supposed to train 3 times a week for the ice hockey, and we couldn't get down. We could only get down sort of once, twice at the most a week. So my ice hockey coach said, do you want to do a bit of fitness training instead, just to keep your fitness up? So we went to a boxing gym for fitness training. Fell in love with the boxing and ended up sacking the ice hockey off, and that's how I got into it. I was about 11, 12 years old, and that's where it all started.
And when did you realise, I know you had like a really good amateur career, what was the time when you started realising, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
I think when I started winning national titles, I think I won 6 national titles when I was in the juniors. The junior ABAs 3 times, the CYPs 3 times. Started winning, you know, area belts and stuff like that. And that's probably when I thought, you know, I can take this seriously.
Yeah.
And then obviously moved up into the seniors, won the ABAs and other national titles, fought for England in the Youth Commonwealths and the Tri-Nations, and yeah, went from there really.
Does sound pretty impressive. It's just showing off now, aren't you? That's quality, mate. But when you eventually make that decision as an amateur fighter and you go, do you know what, I'm gonna turn pro, I'm gonna see how I go at this. Does that decision come out of winning titles? Because you already said there you used to winning titles at that stage. Or does it come out of, you know what, I can make a few quid out of this, I can make a good living out of it?
Yeah, definitely. It sort of started like after winning them sort of as a junior. It was sort of people started recognising me as I was always in the Books and Advertiser, the local newspaper, and I was always known as Jack the Boxer from Chapel and Leaf. It's Jack the Boxer. Always got recognised as that. So that sort of stuck. I was always the lad who boxes from Chapel, and that sort of put it into my mind that's what I want to do. You know, other trainers and people said, you know, you can take this seriously. You're good enough to, you know, take this seriously if you knuckle down and you know, win some national titles in the amateurs and then turn over pro.
Good stuff. And when you like, you know, you're going to go pro, you've had a bit of like bad experience recently that we've touched on, you know, with promoters, and I think there's so much outside opinion of boxing now that it's a bit crooked and a bit dodgy, and there's a lot of charlatans in the promotion game, and you know that is true. It's not all bad people. There's a lot of great people in boxing, great promoters. But what advice would you give to a young fighter when they're looking for a new manager, new promoter, and what would you do differently if you could make that decision now at the start of your career?
I think finding the right manager first.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Murray is. I think he's the best manager in the business. He doesn't care about the money. He's not in it for the money. He does everything for the boxers, and that's why some promoters don't really. Well, not saying some, but you know, some promoters don't really like him because he does get what's best for the boxer, and he's all about the boxer. And sometimes that's not liked. But yeah, I think find the right manager first, and then you'll get good advice from there. Yeah.
And what about in terms of promoter? What guarantee should you be looking for as a young fighter that, you know, if you're going to sign with someone?
I think obviously it's good to have a contract there. Always means insurance. You know, get the right contracts, get someone, you know, who's going to look after you. You know, obviously financially, and get you the fights that you need, and build you from the beginning. Build you into a good fighter, get you the right fights, and then when you're ready to go, someone who's more than capable and getting you the big fights as well. So
yeah, it makes sense. And like, what about the people around you? I know you've got like a fantastic partner in Amber. You've got a great family, always support you. How important is that, and how big a role have those people played in your career, especially getting through the adversity?
It's one of the main factors. If you've got a good family, you know, a good girlfriend or partner behind you, it's one of the main factors, really is. Because at the end of the day, that's where you go after being in the gym and dealing with all the, you know, sometimes the nasty stuff. You always end up going back home, and you know, you need to vent, or you need someone to, you know, second opinion. But you know, what's the saying? Behind every great guy is a great woman, or go something like that.
I think, yeah, behind every okay guy there's a great woman in your case.
Yeah.
No, you've got a good in there, mate.
But, yeah, definitely.
It's true. I always say that in all sports, you know, when I've been lucky enough to work in quite a lot of sports, and I always say to young sports people, it's all about the people around them. You know, without steady, stable sort of support group around you, good family, good friends, you know, you're really going to struggle. So it's great that you've got that.
Yeah.
And I see that.
Don't rush into anything. That's good advice for young up and coming boxers.
Yeah.
Don't rush into that first contract to get offered. Shop around, trainers as well and managers as well. Shop around, see who's best for you, and yeah, take your time. Don't rush into anything.
Good stuff, mate. And that's how you end up with a massive fight. Like yourself, and becoming a world champion. But yeah. I want to find out a few little things about you. You know, just underneath and taking the gloves off. You've just let in that you like cinema a lot. Yeah. What are you, a rom-com man, action film? What's your name me a couple of your favourite movies. In fact, gun to your head, what's your favourite movie? You've got one movie left to watch. What are you watching?
Jesus, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say. No, it's probably not, but off the top of my head, I like. I watched Casino the other night. That's one of my favourite films.
Great film.
Great film. You know, it's a bit cliche. Everyone says it's Shawshank. You know, it's one of my favourites.
It's got to be Gladiator, but
yeah, Gladiator's another good one.
Casino. What about boxing film? What's your favourite boxing film?
It's got to be Rocky's, hasn't it? It's Got to be the Rocky
What number? What number? This is crucial.
Probably.
This. You're going to say 4,
me,
aren't you?
I'm 4, yeah.
You're going to say 4. It's just because you look a bit like Ivan Drago.
Yeah, I'm his love child, aren't I? So.
Tell us about, actually, we're going off piste here, but I've got to answer you now, or ask you to tell people. What about when you screen tested to be Ivan Drago's son?
We got asked to do like a, what do you call that? Yeah, like a screen test to be Ivan Drago's son. Was it Creed? Can't remember which one it is now. I've not seen all the Creed ones. Sort of fell off the wagon after the first one, but yeah, it was a bit. We didn't get the role, but it was fun. It was a bit cheesy. We had to put like a Russian accent on. And,
go on, give us your Russian accent. Come on,
say all these daft lines that I'm going to beat your ass and all that.
Well, I can see why you never got the part.
Well, yeah, you just waiting for that one, yeah.
Good stuff, mate. Go on, one more. What about music? What's music like? What about one last concert? Who are you going to see?
It's got to be my favourite band, Arctic Monkeys.
You only say that because you know I've got 2 tickets to the Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, you dropped that right. Yeah.
Bit wrong timing though, because my missus is due on the 12th of June, and that's the 2nd of June, isn't it?
There you go. I've got out taking it there then.
Yeah, it might be a tough squeeze that.
It's great stuff, mate. Just getting to know a bit more about you. And I'd say last thing I'd say is when the fight's done, we spoke loads about the fight earlier on, and I think what we've tried to do here is get to know something different about you. And I think Joseph Parker's going to get to know something different about you on the 21st when you get in there.
Absolutely.
So tell me, when that fight's finished and you get to go back with the family, what's the first drink you're having, the first meal you're having?
First meal, probably an Italian, nice little Italian, and we'll have a glass of wine with that, glass of red wine. So yeah,
that's me. Making out your
sophisticated. That's me. It's definitely going to be a pint straight after the fight.
Fish and chips and a big 10 lager. Jackie boy,
it's definitely going to be a pint. But yeah, try to sound.
It's been great today, mate. Really enjoyed it. Like I said all this earlier on, but can't wait for the fight. Can't wait for you to get your opportunity. Yeah. We're going to smash it. You're going to smash it.
Yeah.
Good luck, pal.
Thank you, mate.
We've got to walk all the way back to the car now. You know what? They don't get credit on the overlap. When you see Gary Neville's podcast and the cameraman's walking backwards all that time, I'd like to say thank you to George.
Yeah.
Because he's avoided some puddles there, George.
We're just going to lead him straight into that mole.
Lead him straight into this one here, yeah? Cheers, guys.